Freestyle travel. Hey everybody, this is Kenny Flannery here as always, and welcome to another Freestyle Travel Show episode. This is episode number 100. Can you believe that? 100 episodes. This is it. Pretty cool. Pretty cool I made it this far. Sticking with the podcast. I'm drinking a Weiss beer, Paulaner. I'm here in Berlin. Take a sip of beer. Good old German beer. It's not a lot of it, but what they got isn't too bad. Berlin. Good old Berlin. Last episode I left you guys, I was in Ireland, so I've got a lot to catch you up on. From Italy to Switzerland and all around. I got planes, buses, trains, hitchhiking, camping, couch surfing, staying with random people who pick me up. Once again, all the things. A month goes by and all the things happen. So, yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one. There's a bunch of stories in here. Good times. I'm just reflecting upon it. This is my time to reflect on the month and everything that happened. Good stuff. I've also gotten some time recently to play with trip hopping some more. So if you guys haven't gotten on trip hopping yet, this is pretty much the only place where I've given out the password besides my Patreon early on. So if you guys go to triphopping.com and use the access code Imperial Stout, all lowercase with a space in between, you can get in there. And I'm thinking of lifting the access code here probably pretty soon, but it doesn't matter to you because you know it and you can get in there, create an account, and start checking out trip hopping. I'm adding features and improving it as much as I can. So what did I add recently? Going live, like a mega feature. It's not going to be super cool until there's a lot of people using the app, but I have this going live feature where it's basically like a digital hitchhiking, impromptu hangout, couch surfing feature where you basically share your location in real time. And basically say, I'm hitchhiking. I need a ride right now, or I want to hang out right now. You could be like, I'm in New York City or Berlin. Who else is in Berlin and wants to hang out like right now? Or if you like really need a host for tonight, that's basically a way to turn on your beacon and say, hey, I'm here. It's getting late. Can anyone host me? Yes, that feature works now, which is pretty damn cool. Yeah, a bunch of stuff. I'll just always be adding stuff forever to a good old trip hopping. Hope you guys dig it. So sign up, upload a damn picture. Some of my friends like started an account and didn't even upload a picture. I don't know. Fill out your profile maybe. There's a bunch of AI built in. I just added a lot more AI features just this past week to trip hopping. So it uses your profile in a lot of cases. So whatever you write in your bio, it'll use that. So one example is if you look at a place like Berlin and you hit the travel guide, basically what it's doing is it's asking AI what to do in Berlin and to consider what's written on your profile. So if you, in my case, my profile says that I've been traveling for years and I really like beer and some stuff, and so it's going to tell me good places to drink beer. Things like that. So I don't know. I'm excited. Like I said, it's always getting better, and I'm going to like a tech travel thing here coming up. I'll get to that in the end of the podcast, having to do with Trust Routes. Things are looking good. Things are looking good. It's only accessible via the web right now, but the Android app will probably come before the iPhone app, and that might come in the next month. It might be a few months. I don't know. But that's what I use. It's working on my phone, the Android app. It's pretty sick. Adds a few extra features. I don't know why I'm talking so much about this other than I'm excited. Being able to import all your friends and see them on a map and see when they're close by. Cool stuff like that. Anyways, that's trip hopping. I'm excited. I don't know if I got any other general updates before I get into the story of Italy and beyond. Man, so much stuff. Got to Sicily too. Met someone from Patreon. Get on my Patreon. I can say that. Patreon.com/KennyFlannery. I should always mention that because it gives me a little bit of beer money. And basically, you guys can get on there for $6 a month. Basically buying me a beer once a month, you get all these extra podcast episodes. I'm uploading like a 1 to 5 minute kind of episode every few days, just updating throughout the day, even while I'm walking and stuff. It's pretty cool. I like doing it. People like hearing it. You could be one of those people. Just buy me a beer every month. I'm super grateful. Patreon.com/kenflannery. I think that is all I got in that regard. So yeah, let's get into the story of getting to Italy, hitchhiking around, and all the travel nonsense from there to here. Let's do it. All right, we got a lot of ground to cover. So last episode, I was recording that episode in Dublin. I had already gotten a cheap little Ryanair ticket. I forget if it was 15 or 20 bucks to Brindisi, Italy. No idea what or where Brindisi was until I saw the cheap ticket and looked it up on a map. It is in the south of Italy. You know, Italy's like a boot, so it's in the heel of the boot. So I was like, all right, perfect. That'll get me over into mainland Europe, because I knew eventually I wanted to see my buddy Walter. I knew this Trust Routes meetup was coming up in Germany later, which is coming up fast now, tomorrow. So yeah, that was going to get me to Italy. And I've never been to the south of Italy before, just the north. So went ahead, jumped on that flight. Wasn't too long. Got to Brindisi at night. Had a Trust Routes host set up. Yeah, guy there in Brindisi hosted me, retired guy. He was pretty chill, hung out a little bit. I got there that night, just kind of met him, and then spent the next day kind of walking around town. He took me to some spots, showed me some good places to eat. Later on, went to my first brewery there in Italy, the only one in town, which was interesting. They had a couple beers, maybe they had 3 on tap. That was it. They didn't seem super proud of their beer. They had a smoked beer that was actually pretty good, but they were way more about like their food and stuff. So dude just started ordering all these different foods, and like a potato filled with a bunch of sausage and stuff, and then like this melted cheese wrapped in ham afterwards. And then for dessert, we had something like a biscotti. If you know what a biscotti is, it's not biscotti, but that's what I would have called it. That you dipped into this really strong wine. I don't know, it was good. And then they're like, oh yeah, we have this beer. I'm like, okay. Yeah, I forgot what it's like to be in Europe drinking beer. It's been a minute. It's hit or miss. So yeah, good times in Brindisi, and I'm just thinking about like, where am I gonna go? Will I go to Sicily before I head north? I probably should. Where to? So I decided just to hitch up the coast. Got a ride right away from one dude, then waited a long time, then got another ride, and it was kind of a chunky day of long waits. And I got to a place called Polignano, I believe it's called. If you've been following my Instagram at hobolifestyle, I was pretty consistently posting pictures while I was down there. So if you haven't seen them already, you can get on there at hobolifestyle and see. Polignano is this like wild city, kind of built on the cliffside of the water. So it's super cool. Real cool looking, crazy busy. I've just been getting hit with holidays and weekends and stuff ever since I've been over here, especially in Italy. It just seemed like everywhere I went was just mobbed with people. More like tourists than normal, just because it's such and such holiday, and then it's the weekend, and blah, blah, blah. And like, oh, the holiday landed on a Thursday, so the next whole 4-day weekend is just going to be slammed with people from everywhere. There's a lot of that. So that place is pretty crowded, but yeah, pretty awesome. Take a look at the pictures, or look up Polignano if you can find a way to spell it. It's north of Brindisi, in between there and Bari. So yeah, I was sending other couch requests and stuff to people here and there in Italy, but Italy, I don't know, it's just tougher than other countries I found to find a host. Get into why a little later, but one dude kind of just told me what I've always kind of known. Basically, it's it's a lot of dudes who want to hook up with travel girls. I mean, that's not 100%, obviously. It's a generalization, but it is true. There's a lot of that. So as a guy by himself, it's kind of hard to find a host compared to other countries. Yeah, one dude I met said he used to have a couch surfing profile and said that it was a spectacular way to get free pussy. That's the exact way that he put it, as far as hosting people on couch surfing. So even on Couchers and Trust Routes and Be Welcome, I ended up finding some people here and there that I'll get to in like Rome and Naples, but overall it was a little hit or miss. So anyways, after leaving that Polignano place, I was like maybe going to go up to Bari and kind of hope that this one person responded to a message. Then I got a ride from this couple. They were going to, I don't know, some other town, Altamora, I think it was called, which was north of a place called Matera that I heard was a pretty cool looking city. So I rode with them. It was dark by the time I got there. I found a place to stealth camp near the highway. Kind of funny going through like the big crowd of Italians, like beautiful city, like cobblestones and marble and people dressed up pretty nice. And then, yeah, I just scurry into the tall, wet grass next to the highway and camp out there. Pretty standard there. Yeah, woke up and I hitchhiked / walked, did a lot of walking in Italy. Hitchhiking was kind of slow as well at times. So I think I was walking, I don't know, at least 10 miles every day, obviously, but closer to 15, 16, 17 miles a day, generally. So this was one of those days where I got a short ride to Matera, but probably walked at least 10 miles just in that little stretch. But anyways, Matera, also a place that I photographed, is just this wild old city, kind of built like a bowl, and just all these stone buildings and just like really, really cool looking. Like you see a picture of it and it's pretty wild. Or if you've been there, you know what I'm talking about. There's not too many other places on earth that look like that. It's pretty cool. Just either, yeah, get on my Instagram or go ahead and just Google Matera, Italy, and take a look at that. Pretty wild. So I walked around there for the day, just taking that in. Like I'm about to take a sip of beer here. Yeah, and I'm still deciding at this point, like, should I go to Sicily? Because if you look at a map, like, to go down to Sicily and back up is like, it's kind of a mission, you know? But I'm like, kind of gotta go. So my thought was, let me go. So leaving Matera, I ended up getting a ride from this one guy who was like pretty cool, super cool. He gave me, took me on a little detour to his town, met his wife and kid real quick. He had to take him to like swimming lessons. He got me this jar of crunchy peppers, Crusco, I think it's called. He wanted to show that off to me, and I'm chilling. He takes me down to the coast, the road that's pointing towards Sicily, drops me off at a gas station on the highway, but I'm there for 2 hours without getting a ride. And then it gets dark, and then I'm like, ah, shit. All right. Time to figure something else out. I'm in a fairly dense area, so I'm not sure where I'm going to camp, blah, blah, blah. So I start walking the side road along the highway and into town. I see a little spot that's got Scoop's ice cream. I'm like, all right, let me go in there, see if they've got Wi-Fi. I'll take a look at Google Maps satellite view as I do and see what options I got. For kicks, I looked at a bus just to see. Dude, there's a bus from where I was at to Sicily for like $10. Overnight bus. Was it? It might have been less than 10. Might have been 8. Anyways, it was eight or $10, and it went from where I was all the way to Catania overnight to Sicily. Like a 10-hour bus ride, or maybe it was 14-hour bus ride, somewhere in that range. So I'm like, okay, just bought Scoop ice cream for like €2. So basically for the price of 4 scoops of ice cream, I have a place to stay on the bus. That's the beauty of an overnight bus. That's just a classic travel trick, is overnight buses, trains, and then you save money on hostels if you were going to spend that kind of money. So I'm like, all right, I guess that's probably worth it. €8, €10, whatever it was, and I have a place to sleep on this bus, and then when I wake up, I'll be in goddamn Sicily instead of hitchhiking for 2 or 3 days. Like, all right, I'm doing that. So I did that, and I had to walk. Of course, there's always walking involved. I had to walk maybe 5 miles or something to get to where the bus was. There happened to be a beer bar. So shit, I went to this beer bar and I spent more money on like 2 beers than I did that bus ticket. Fucking beer. So good. It was actually a decent beer bar for Italy. Yeah. Met the owner and the owner's dad. The owner's dad sat down with me right away. Just chatted the whole time while I was waiting for this like midnight bus or whatever. Another sip of beer. Yeah. So I get on this bus and I think it was close to like 10 hours or something. Drives all the way down. The bus even gets on the ferry that goes over to Sicily, and then, which is perfect timing because we just got over the ferry, over the water as the sun was coming up. That way I was able to open my eyes for the last like stretch of it and see the Sicilian coast and all that as we got into Catania, the big old city there. So yeah, Sicily time. So kicked around Catania for a little while, checked it out. I was pleased to discover that cannolis are a Sicilian thing. I guess I never knew that, but I always grew up loving cannolis, so I'm like, all right, they're from here, I'll eat a cannoli. and whatever, cannoli in New York City is just as good, but meh, had to do it. So ate a goddamn cannoli. This is why my money's just about gone now. Fucking eating cannolis, drinking beers. It happens. I still have this beer right here. So at this point, my thought is, I'll just do a clockwise lap of Sicily and, start heading north after that. Got the time. Yeah, so stuck my thumb out in Catania. Got a ride from these 3 girls. One was living on the coast there at this like yoga, and she just picked up the other 2 girls at the airport. They came for this like yoga retreat / kiteboarding place in the south of Sicily. I'm like, that sounds badass. And they like kind of invited me, but didn't. Like they said they would have invited me, but it was like totally full because they're having this retreat. And I was like, damn, I'll go fucking sleep on the beach, hang out with a bunch of yogis or kiteboarding and stuff. But whatever. They dropped me off, exchanged numbers, maybe another time. But ended up I was kind of heading to this place called Syracuse, like another small city south of Catania. That's what I wrote on my hitchhiking sign anyway. I'm just winging it. And this couple in an RV picks me up with 2 little boys in the back. Little, I don't know how old they are. 8 and 9, let's just say. 6 and 8. I don't know, that range. They can walk and talk and do stuff. And the dude was from Sicily, and his wife, she was from Lithuania. They were cool, super cool. Ended up hanging out with them for like the day and the night. They were going somewhere south of Syracuse, and I was just like, fuck it, I'm going there. I'll go wherever you guys are going. You guys seem cool. I don't know what the Syracuse city's about anyways. So I rolled with them. They went to some beach where they were thinking about maybe camping, and we were just drinking wine and eating pasta and telling travel stories and stuff. And then they're like, it's too windy. We're going to go up to Syracuse. So I ended up winding up in that Syracuse city anyways. Walked around the whole thing with them. They kind of knew the right lap to do and check it out. Pretty cool, like classic, European, cool looking city. A lot of churches, cathedrals, cobblestones, all that junk. It had all that. And then they let me sleep in the bench seat in front in the RV. So that was cool. Had a place to sleep inside for the night. Friends to hang out with that whole day. And then, just kind of kept it moving the next day. Making my way around Sicily, so just hitchhiking from place to place. I went to some place called Noto, which was, I don't know, not super cool in my opinion, but someone told me to go there. I don't know why. I walked around, I'm like, all right, maybe if I'd never been anywhere in Europe, this Noto place would be cool, but I don't know. You ever been to Noto? it's whatever. Went there, just hitchhiking slowly, thinking I might go to a place called Matica I did wind up there. Yeah, just rides going super slow. Like I said, a lot of walking in between, walking around these different places. Monica, I think Monica was like up on the hill. Yeah, that was that place. Pretty cool looking. Not a super big town, but like pretty up high with good view. There's a sip of beer. And whatever, I'm eating cannolis when I can, and that's pretty much it. Like, dude, hitchhiking, like, everybody was getting me espresso. That's like a thing. Like, there was one day, and either it happened already or maybe I'll get to it. No, I think it happened later. Like, 3 rides in a row, 3 people in a row, like, all ended the ride by dropping me off and getting me an espresso before we went. Just getting wired up here. So, freaking Monica. I think I camped again that night, I guess, and like losing track of some of the stuff. Or no, maybe that was the day. Yeah, it was getting late. Still hitchhiking, and some guy picked me up from where is he from? Everyone was from this. Oh, Tunisia. There's a lot of people from Tunisia over there in Sicily. So he picked me up. Didn't speak any English. I don't even think he was going to this town, Gela. But he took me to this next city, Gela. And then this next thing I knew, this guy was booking me an Airbnb. Like, didn't ask me. I mean, whatever. It's fine. It was cool. But I was just like, just assumed I needed a place to stay and didn't know what the hell I was doing. I mean, he was right. And just then all of a sudden he's dropping me off this like Airbnb that I have for the night. It's like, all right, well, that's random and awesome and just kind of strange. Had no idea why we were like stopping and going, but that was why. He was trying to book me this room, so random kindness. Yeah, so stayed in this little Airbnb for the night in Gela, and then yeah, kept it moving the next day. Oh, Monica wasn't the place on the hill. Where I went the next day was Agrigento. Agrigento is the place on the hill. Monica was a kind of hilly. They're known for their chocolate. That's what's up. Monica chocolate. Yeah, I had some of the chocolate. It's chocolate. It's all right. Sicilian Monica chocolate. I feel like they just got that word Sicilian. You can add that to anything and it just kind of like sounds better. Like the cannoli. It's like, y'all been to New York before? Yeah. Yeah, so Agrigento. Yeah, just more hitchhiking. Like kicking around. I'm like, a lot of this is like blending together in my mind already. So I kept on going around. I probably camped somewhere around there that night. And then the next day I figured I'd book it to the far west coast. Ended up getting some rides from some people who were going like to a different place. So I just went there instead. Trapani or something like that. Another city on the west coast. Like a botanist picked me up. Couple on vacation picked me up. Walked around this Trapani town. And yeah, need another sip of beer here. Yeah. So, yeah, hitchhiking was, like I said, kind of going pretty slow. Like I was still moving quick because I was just sticking to it, but yeah, a lot more walking than even I'm used to and waiting in between these rides. So, started moving more. Palermo was like the next big destination I figured I'd get to. Did I find a host in Palermo? I don't even fucking know, man. Palermo was like a blur. But I found another bus ticket again for 10 euros. It went from Palermo to Naples. Again, an overnight ticket. And that's like a huge mission. What was it, 12 hours again or something? So I was like, all right, I can do that. Hitchhiking's been slow. Let me grab that. So I was just trying to think of what I actually did in Palermo. I did like a lot of walking along the coast before I got to Palermo. I stayed in some little town and then spent the whole day walking, man. Like no rides at all. Just walking. There wasn't a lot of traffic. No one gave a shit. Just walking along the coast, stopping every few hours if I could, just to sit down or grab a fucking cannoli. That was it. Palermo. Anyways, I was trying to think of what I did there. I can't even remember. It's just, a sip of beer. Yeah, but I was like, all right, time to go. Let me get up to or Naples. So that's what I did. I hopped on that $10 bus overnight. Pretty awesome again, just to be able to sleep and then get there. Didn't have anywhere to stay in Naples, but ended up turning that around. Did I camp the first night? No, maybe I found someone like right away. But it was this cool couple that I stayed with from Be Welcome. I've just been like cycling through the different sites ever since Couchsurfing kind of shit the bed. Be Welcome, Trust Roots, Couchers. So this time was Be Welcome. And I met this guy and did a Caballero. I think that's how you pronounce it. I don't think that's how you pronounce it. Caballero. But it's something like that. It's like this martial arts dance. So I ended up meeting him at this class or whatever. So... because that's what he had going on that night. So went in there, met his wife too, or I don't know if it was his wife, his girlfriend, or something. Caballero. So it was like a couple hours of just like these dancey kind of martial arts kick sweeping moves or whatever, and then the class ended with like everyone grabbing instruments and just jamming out, and then like a couple people would be like caballeroing to the music. It was pretty fun. Then we all like went out and had some food and drink afterwards and stayed up with them talking a little bit. They had to take off in the morning. So I was able to stay there though and just like kind of sleep in because I hadn't slept much recently coming up to that. So that was pretty good. And then, yeah, made my way to Rome after that. Did I make my way to fucking Rome? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I went to Rome. I was going to hitchhike, and then I was, like, looking at the train, and I realized I could get on the train without a ticket. So I did that. Or no, I got, like, the basic ticket. That got me through the €2 ticket. That's what it was. Oh, Italy's kind of blending together. To be honest, I was ready to get out of Italy. like whatever. It was fine, but... I'll be back at some point, but I was ready to go. So a lot of it blended together. I think I like Naples the best. It was cool. That's where I would go back to first, I think, of all the places. I just like the feel of the streets. I can make fun of their pizza. Yeah, let me do that real quick. In Naples. I guess that's where pizza originated. So I'm like, all right, I gotta try some of this pizza. And it's it's not as good as pizza in New York. It's different. It's reminds me more of like California style pizza. Can't really get slices. That's not a thing. I don't fault them for that really. It's better than like Chicago deep dish pizza. It is pizza. It's not like a bread bowl or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. I can't really shit on it per se, but it's nothing crazy. It's good. It's good. It's just. I guess I'm at a disadvantage, like having grown up around New York City and having lived in New York City, like cannolis, pizza, and so many other things I've just grew up having one of the best versions of. So when I come over there and like try a cannoli, I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, standard pizza. Okay. That's fine. What else you got? You know what else they did have down in Sicily? I didn't mention are these fried balls. I think they call them... Ariana, fucking Aranchi. I'll think of the name later, but it's Arancia. I don't know. It's this fried ball, and it's filled with different stuff. Sometimes like pasta and meat, or rice and like different meat and sauce and stuff. They're good. They're good. It's like a good cheap. Even like the bakeries kind of have them. Every little shop, you just go grab one or two for like €1 or €2 each. Those are good. Aren't you happy I told you about something? I can't even tell you what the fucking name is called. Aaron cheese. I don't know. It's a fried ball. You won't miss it. You'll see it. They're all over the place down there. So anyways, Naples, got to Rome. Back to the story. Get a sip of beer here. Yeah, Rome also showed up. Nowhere to stay. Somewhere in the mix of being in Rome, one of members of my Patreon, this guy got me a ticket to Zurich. So at this point, I knew at least I had an easy out of Rome again, like yet another bus mission. So I'd be going, from Rome to Zurich via a couple buses. So that was easy. So I knew I had a few days in Rome, but nowhere to stay as always recently in that mix. So that first day I got into Rome a little late, went straight to the Colosseum because it was close. I just wanted to eyeball something that was definitely Rome. So took a look at that. Kind of getting sick of the amount of people I was seeing everywhere. It's just super busy everywhere I went to in Italy. Maybe that's why I was getting a little fatigued with Italy, because it was just like, all right, a lot of this is driving me fucking nuts. All these people, slow hitchhiking, difficulty finding hosts. Then I had to go find a place to stealth camp, which Rome is a fairly big city, so stopped for a beer and some Wi-Fi and scouted out a few stealth camping spots just looking at the satellite view. The first of which seemed like over an hour, maybe less than 2 hours walk away, but still like a walk. So I started walking there, and then who needs satellite view? I ended up finding like a good little trail to go down and some woods and a fence to get behind and some kind of park. Super hidden spot, pretty decent. Not a great in and out kind of stealth camping spot. One of the things was, stealth camping thing here, side note, I want to find a place where I'm like completely hidden, where I could even, theoretically lay there for 2 or 3 days. Not that I ever would ever do that, and never be found, I used to just say like, I like a stealth camping spot where if I die in my sleep, no one's finding my body for weeks, months, or ever. Like that's the kind of hidden that I want to be. That's the main thing. But the other thing is like getting in and out. So this was not like a great in and out. Like in the night, it was fine to get in there, because once you're in there, you escape behind the trees, like you're good. But coming out, it was like a running trail. So I really had to like listen, and I couldn't really see or hear totally down each side of the trail. So I had to like pick my spot to like emerge from the woods. I'm like, what's the worst that's gonna happen, really? Someone's gonna give you a weird look and be like, this fucking guy sleeping in here. I guess worst case scenario, someone like, I don't know, loses their shit and calls the police. I don't know. That's like overboard paranoid. That's not gonna happen. But either way, I just don't wanna deal with it. But anyways, it was one of those kind of stealth camping spots where in the morning I had to like wait for a couple runners to go by and then just kind of hop out and hope there's no one turning around the corner for whatever it's worth. But anyways, started tripping around all Rome that day, just checking out all the stuff, been hearing about Rome since I was a kid. So just checking out all the, checked out the Colosseum again a little bit, the Forum, the Pantheon, all the stuff, all the ruins and junk, just checking it out, walking around the city, getting an idea of how this stuff is all spatially laid out and whatnot. So it was pretty cool. And then somewhere in the mix of the day, I actually got a response from someone on Be Welcome. It was a couple, and they actually both had profiles, and I messaged both of them because they both seemed cool. Like I might as well message both of them, double my chances, and it worked. They're like, our place is super small, and we're having like a party tonight, and no one speaks English, and I don't know if you like it, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, fucking party. Like, I don't care how small your place is. Like, you guys seem cool, and whatever, I'm in. So yeah, more roaming around, and then yeah, I got to their place at night, and they're indeed having a little party. Their place was pretty big, I thought. I don't know, like it definitely wasn't small. Like they're like, you'll have no privacy, and there's like a whole privacy office thing, but they set up a bed for me to sleep in. I was like, all right, I don't know what y'all are used to, but this is pretty flash. Like, and most of their friends did speak English, and just had like a pretty chill night of chatting with people and hanging out. So that was awesome. And I was going to stay there for 2 nights until I was getting ready to leave. So I got the whole next day in Rome to walk around. And then the husband of the couple came and met me on his motorbike midway through the day. And we went to a bajillion spots just all around Rome. Him just like telling me history and showing me stuff. We went to the first like road that they built from Rome that goes to the coast, like that first section. Got to check that out. Just like imagine hitchhiking on chariots back in the day. Take a sip of beer here. And yeah, that's why I love couch surfing or trusters or you name it, hospitality sites, because yeah, it's the place to stay. But I like just being able to hang out and be like, oh yeah, I went to this party with these people and and then they walked me around town all day and got to check out all this stuff. Like it's just a better experience overall. So that was a good time, and yeah, crashed out that night, and yeah, the next, was it that night? I'm like losing my shit here. I don't know. I guess that maybe I only stayed the one night, and then that night, yeah, because it was an overnight. That's right. Yeah, it was an overnight bus to Milan and Zurich. That's right. So yeah, I only stayed the one night and then spent the day with him roaming around, and then yeah, walked a couple hours across the city to the bus station, and yeah, busted on through the night, sleeping, a little layover if you want to call it that, in Milan for a couple hours, and then showed up at Zurich around noon or something. Zurich. So yeah, like I said, on my Patreon, this guy, super fucking cool Czech guy, who's on there, saw that I was around, is like living in Zurich. So yeah, he paid for that bus into Zurich for me to come hang out, which I was stoked to do. He's into beer as well, Czech guy, into good beer, lots of good beer. He had fridge stocked with good stuff. And happy vibes. Got the day off of work too. Was able to, so I ended up staying in Zurich for, I think it was like a couple nights. Almost went on like a Czech adventure with him. It didn't quite pan out, but yeah, had a couple good days in Zurich, just going to like decent beer bars. I mean, the beer in Zurich isn't like world class or anything, but it's okay. Or we found some okay stuff anyways. Some hiking around, getting some good views of the city. I guess Zurich is like the biggest city in Switzerland, but it doesn't really feel that big. Especially looking at it from above or even walking through, it's just expensive as fuck, dude. Like, he was covering the beers and stuff, which was awesome of him, but yeah, some of those beers are going for like $14 for a pour of beer. It's like crazy town over there in Zurich. It's like every time I pass through Switzerland in my travels, it's just in and out, man. In and out. I mean, it is beautiful, but like, pack a lunch, because shit is crazy up in there. But yeah, really good times hanging out with him. And initially I thought I was going to go from Zurich and kind of like loosely hitchhike up through Belgium and whatever and get to the Netherlands to see my friend. But I let him know that I was getting closer, and then found out he's going to be out of town. So I'm like, all right, maybe I'll go there after this German trust routes thing, which is going on tomorrow. So I'm like, all right, instead of going that way, I'm going to go the other way through maybe Czech Republic, stuff like that. So I was like, all right, well, Munich's right there. I got time. I'll fuck around and go to Munich. So that's what I did. Hitchhiked to Munich. Pretty straightforward day. I think got to Munich pretty early. Forget how many rides it took, a few short rides, and then finally I got a ride right into Munich. from a brewer, no less. Just a guy who like homebrewed and stuff. So that was a good ride. Yeah, again, I showed up in Munich blind, nowhere to stay, not knowing what I was gonna do. But I was just, as much as I talk shit about like German beer and stuff like that, I love the beer culture. I love being able to drink outside as well. Like just to be able to walk into a shop and grab a cold beer that doesn't absolutely suck. Because the beer is, if you've heard me talk shit about German beer, it's not like I'm calling it Bud Light or anything like that. It's not like shitty like Miller Lite, Bud Light. It's just most of the beer is like good. It's just they don't brew many different styles, you know? Like I don't know what they have against IPAs, but they don't mess around with IPAs. There's not a lot of stouts like some of the styles I really like. They don't mess with. But if you do just grab a random beer, it's gonna be good, like a Weiss beer. That's what I'm drinking right now. It's the better version of that style, Pilsner, Weiss beer, that kind of thing. Yeah, so it's like the vibes. I was ready for that. And yeah, sure enough, actually, I got some Wi-Fi in Munich and sent out a request or two to some people on the hospitality sites, and one guy replied pretty quickly. Said he was living in like a dorm or something. Didn't feel like a dorm when I got there, more like an apartment. But yeah, I went to a beer garden or something first, and then caught up with him. He had a few roommates that I never met. Apparently, they lived there too. Yeah, and that guy was chill. Let me take a sip of beer. Pretty chill. We went out and grabbed a beer immediately, as you do. Went to one beer garden or another, and then checked out. There's a big view over the Olympic Park or whatever, kind of looking to the city. We were there around sunset, some more beer. He owned his own bar, which was only open like 3 days a week, and that actually was like it wasn't campus, but it was like student housing apartment complex. And he had this little basement bar there that was open some random arbitrary days, like Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday or something like that. But we went there and played a bunch of beer pong, hung out, ran around the city, just drinking beers, meeting his friends. Pretty cool, pretty standard, awesome, like, you know, kind of couch surfing-ish experience. He was through couchers.org, so I met him. Then, yeah, the next day he had stuff to do, and I just decided, screw it, I'll walk around the whole city like I normally do, wandering around, drinking beers, checking stuff out. That's what I did, trying to find some decent beer bars. Money is super low right now. Crazy low, but, you know, did what I could. Beer here or there I could afford. And yeah, somewhere around like 6 p.m. I was like starting to message him, just because usually he would give a key to his guests or whatever, but one of the roommates had a friend in or something like that. So anyways, around 6 p.m. I was like, are you home now, or where do you want to meet later, or I don't know, what's the deal? And it wasn't until like 8 p.m. that he messaged me back and some kind of vague message about not being home but being somewhere else. And I was like, all right, well, I don't know, what time do you think you might be back, or whatever, what are you doing? And then like another hour or two would go by until he would respond, and then he said he was like out somewhere but didn't really say where. I was like, all right, well, okay. And then somewhere around like closer to 10 or so, he said that he had the extra key, and I was like, all right, well, I'll come meet you and grab it, or I don't know, hang out or something. Well, what time are you getting back? And then he waited longer, and then he's like, oh, I'm close to my bar. I'm like, okay. Take another sip of beer. And his bar or whatever is, I don't know, maybe 10 kilometers from his house. A couple hour walk anyway. But at this point I figured out that you can kind of get on a bunch of buses and trains, and they don't really check your ticket. So I'm like, all right, I'll take the bus over there. So I get the bus over there, and I don't have cell service anymore, so I'm just like Wi-Fi only. So I'm dicking around over there. I'm like, go to his bar, it's closed. I'm like, close to the bar. I'm like, what the fuck does that mean, close to the bar? I mean, I know what that means, but where? So finally I find Wi-Fi, and I still haven't gotten a response from him as far as where. So I'm waiting around more, and then I'm like, all right, I better get back to his place. That way I'm there when he gets back. So I finally get back to his place, and then he messages me like, oh, I'm on the 6th floor. I'm like, the 6th floor of what? Where? And I text him that, and then does nothing for an hour or two. And then he's like, oh yeah, I'm back here. And I'm like, at this point, it's like, pretty much, I'm just dragging you through the whole shit that I got dragged through. Pretty much I was just sitting outside his place from 11 to 4:30 in the morning. Just waiting for this fucking guy to get back. Because he wouldn't even give me a straight answer where the hell he was. So that was kind of lame. But whatever, he got back 4:30 in the morning, and went to sleep. So yeah, had I known he was going to be out that, well, fuck it. I mean, there's whatever. I don't want to get into it. Could have easily grabbed the key if he just fucking texted me, or done something else if I knew he was going to be that late. Anyways, that shit doesn't happen too often on couch surfing, but it can happen. And better me than someone else. I'm more capable of tolerating bullshit, I guess, than someone who might be their first time couch surfing or something. To be honest, if I had my whole backpack with me and stuff, I might have just left. Probably around like 2 in the morning or 1 in the morning. I might have just been like, all right, fucking out of here, and just went and found a place to camp. But my stuff was in his place. So anyways, yeah, went to sleep, got some sleep, got up in the morning, and got the hell out of there because I was ready to keep it moving. So on to Prague. And this is just another sip of beer. That's a text message. Yeah, so I'm like, all right, let me go to Prague. So the Trust Roots meetup thing was like close to Berlin. And I still had, at that point, leaving Munich, going to Prague, I still had over a week. But now, right there in that mix, I got a message from someone saying they were leaving Berlin on a biking trip. This is a guy I met back in Mississippi. My friend hosted him while staying at my friend's house too. So like, I guess we're both being hosted by my friend. I met him briefly back then. Anyways, he must have seen one of the pictures I posted online, saw that I was in Europe, and he's like, if you happen to be around Berlin, I'm going to be gone for 10 days in Portugal on a bike trip, and I can leave a key for you. You'll have a place to stay if you want. So I was like, dude, fucking timing, dude. Absolutely perfect. Hell yeah. So I think it was by the time I was going to Prague that I knew that was an option, like right away. Yeah. So pretty much, yeah, the whole time leading up to this thing close to Berlin, I've had this apartment. So I'll get to that because, yeah, I just went to Prague for an afternoon, pretty much. So, yeah, hitchhiked from Munich to Prague. Oh, no, it took a couple days to get there. That's the thing. I was going to stop in Pilsen. There's a Pilsner Urquell, drink a little beer there, close to Prague. And I thought for sure I'd make it there, but I didn't. Hitchhiked out of Munich real easy. Got to Regensburg real quick. And then I was just in Regensburg, this town, for hours and hours, like most of the day. I waited at a gas station kind of thing for a couple hours, decided to walk up through the town, just trying one on-ramp, another. Finally started getting a few rides. Some Romanian couple went out of their way to take me to the Czech border. Didn't speak much English, but we were just talking through that Google Translate app, sharing stories. And by the time I got to the Czech border where they dropped me off, it was dark. They gave me a gigantic fucking block of cheese, like a volleyball. It's insanity. Some grape soda, and then said, good luck. So, camped out next to the highway, and yeah, missed out on the pills and stuff because I knew they weren't going to be open the next day. But yeah, hitchhiked to Prague and spent the day in Prague. I got a ride from some French dude going to an internship in Czech Republic for cheese making. Pretty cool dude, actually. He took me right to Prague, and yeah, I spent the day there. Had some goulash. that was good. And then a bunch of beer spots. Hit one little craft beer spot. Got some of those cold beers on the go. The dude I met in Zurich, the Czech guy, he told me about an awesome like monastery kind of brewery. Went there for some beers. And yeah, once again, didn't have a place to stay there. And I was like, all right, I've been to Prague before. I don't need to like linger here. And now this place in Berlin is opened up. It's an apartment, just empty. It'd be nice to have this little crash pad and chill. So I'm like, all right, let me hitchhike on up there. So I got one ride out of Prague, super quick, super easy, from this guy to Dresden, which is the halfway mark to Berlin. He dropped me off and it was getting late-ish. But a little VW Bug with some flowers on it pulled over right away. This girl, I think she said she was 24 or something. Pretty awesome. Super like energetic. She was German American, so she's lived in Germany her whole life, but I think one of her parents was American, so enough that she had like an American accent or whatever. She picked me up, super excited to have picked me up, and then like less than a minute later, there was a dude with a Berlin sign, another hitchhiker, so we picked him up, Polish dude. So it was awesome. The three of us just were rolling up to Berlin together, just telling stories. He hitchhikes every once in a while, just on little trips. And yeah, rolled on up to Berlin. She dropped him off right where he needed to be, and then went across the city and dropped me off right where I needed to be, which is where I'm sitting right now in buddy's apartment. And I've been here for, I don't think it's been a week, but it's been a minute. No, whatever, it doesn't matter. Less than a week, but close to that, just chilling in Berlin. So it's, this whole story, this is the first time in like a month that I've gotten my own like space to chill and not have to think about where I'm sleeping or where I'm getting to the next day for at least a few days. While wandering around Berlin, eating a bunch of currywurst. That's my favorite part of Berlin. Is just the currywurst, which is, it's just sausage covered in ketchup and curry powder, basically. But it's fucking good. And just drinking some Weiss beers. Besides that, just eating pasta, just eating cheap. Like I said, I'm down to the bottom of my cash pile completely. But yeah, pasta goes far, especially when I can cook it myself. So that's been good. I've also gotten a lot of time to work on the trip hopping stuff that I led the podcast with. Some of those new features I've been able to crank out. And yeah, that brings me to today. So this is my last night here in Berlin. Tomorrow I'm catching a ride with one of the other guys going to this collective. So that'll be cool. But I'll get into that in the outro. Take another sip of beer here. Man, fucking Berlin. I've been here way more times than I thought. I don't know about you guys, but I recommend using the the star feature on Google Maps. You can add stars or want to go or different lists or whatever. I use it all the time. Like if someone tells me like, oh, if you're ever in Warsaw, like check out this brewery, I just mark it on Google Maps and it's a persistent marker that stays on there forever. So next time I'm there, I see that marker. Anytime I stay at someone's house, I mark it, blah, 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 blah. Dude, Berlin is just littered with stars from like the past 15 years or whenever the first time I came here was. Just like different people's houses and places that I ate and different beer spots and different parks and blah, blah. Like, oh, there's so many stars. I'm just looking at them like, Jesus, I don't even remember what these markers are for. Zooming in, like, what did I do here? Been here a lot. I like it. It's a good city. It's cool. And here now, leaving tomorrow. So let me jump into the outro and tell you about the exciting trust route stuff and everything else that's coming up here. All right, so last night in Berlin, drinking this Weiss beer, enjoying myself, getting this podcast out, episode 100. Pretty nice. So this trust routes thing. Who knows? Maybe I'll do a podcast there if someone's interested. Or otherwise, I'll definitely talk about it on the next podcast. But the deal is I don't know exactly. So it's Trust Routes. It's like a couch surfing-ish website that started maybe 10 years ago now. It's meant for, meeting people who can host you and perhaps meeting other travelers. It's been around for a minute. It's got a cool interface, like it's a map, so you can like see dots on the map of generally where people live. So even if a big city like Berlin, you can be like, oh, I kind of want to stay on the west side of Berlin and look at the map and see people who live on that side of Berlin, or wherever. Actually, the best part of the map feature on any of these hospitality sites, more are using it now, is if you don't know cities between cities. So if you're going to either road trip or hitchhike from one city to another, you might not know that there's a little town here with someone hosting. But if you're looking at the map, you see the dot of the person, you're like, oh, cool, maybe I'll make a stop. So anyways, Trust Routes. So they're having this meetup about Nostr, which is like this decentralized protocol, and maybe converting Trust Routes to run on this decentralized thing. It's kind of nerdy, so maybe I won't say too much now. I'll say more when I understand it more myself, but it's kind of interesting. So it's going to be a few days or maybe 5 days or something like that of, I don't know how many people are going to be there. I assume at least 5, maybe there'll be 20 people. I'm guessing around 10. Yeah, just talking about making these changes to Trust Routes and decentralizing hospitality networks in general, stuff like that. I don't know, I'm pretty stoked. I'm curious, excited, skeptical, all the things, and maybe something I can incorporate into trip hopping or not. I don't know. To be honest, I'm just excited to be around a bunch of other travel-focused tech nerds. It's going to be pretty awesome. So yeah, one of those guys, I guess he lives here in Berlin, so I'm hitching a ride with him tomorrow. Gotta meet him. It's my birthday tomorrow. Go figure. Doesn't mean much other than I know I get a free drink at Starbucks. So I don't ever go to Starbucks recently, but I like free shit. I think I got a free cookie at Subway. So I might try to do both of those things in the hour walk to get to him in his car. And ride on over. It's like an hour and a half west of here. So that's the plan. Go there, and unless something comes up there, my idea after that is to go hitchhike to see my good friend Walter in the Netherlands after that, which is maybe another 6, 7, 8 hours west. So that's kind of the idea. Super stoked to see Walter. I've been looking forward to seeing him for a while. Ever since I knew I was coming to Ireland. So yeah, that's finally going to happen. Good times. Another sip of beer while I think. Yeah, I guess that's it. I don't think there's anything else to share at the moment. Other than, yeah, again, take a look at trip hopping. The access code will either be removed and you can just get on there and sign up if there does ask for an access code. Again, that is Imperial Stout. Imperial Stout with a space between, all lowercase. And yeah, check it out. And please let me know what you think as you're checking out the site. In the lower right, you can click a little icon down there, and then a menu will pop up that says feedback. And if you click that feedback thing, you can even take a screenshot. So whatever page you're looking at, you can just make a comment or just leave a general comment or say something specific. If you find a bug or something that you like, something you don't like, something weird, let me know. That's the whole point of me telling you guys right now. It's not only for you to get in the ground floor, but just to make it better before I really open up the floodgates and let the world know. So, trip hopping. Fucking A. I guess that's it. Hope you guys are doing awesome, and I will see you down the road. To hell with plans I made, I need a new escape. With all my shit straight, I'll get my big brain.